2 years ago, on this very day, Hamas launched an attack on Israeli territory, sparking a war that continues to this day. This ongoing conflict has caused even greater displacement of Palestinians and intensified their suffering. In the midst of this dire situation in Gaza, hope has begun to take root in the hearts of these beleaguered people, thanks to the peace talks that have started in recent days. In this video, we aim to explore these negotiations, their significance, and their potential consequences, so stay with us. You never negotiate with an enemy that you can defeat easily and at a low cost. The fact that Israel has agreed to negotiate with a rival that openly seeks its destruction means it has chosen diplomacy over military action, likely due to the heavy costs of war and increasing pressure. In reality, Israel expected that eliminating Hamas would be faster and less expensive. That said, no one can deny that Israel currently holds a much stronger position on the battlefield. Otherwise, Hamas would never have agreed to enter negotiations with preconditions that mostly favor Israel. They have realized that despite the high expenses of war and external pressure, Israel is willing to fight to the very end if necessary. So, considering all these factors, exhaustion from the war, financial burden, and international pressure, both sides, especially Israel, which currently has the upper hand, were eventually drawn to the negotiating table. The main reason I believe these negotiations are crucial and must succeed is the catastrophic humanitarian situation in Gaza. It's the same reason that triggered a strong global response and immense international pressure on Israel, pressure that eventually pushed it toward the negotiating table. Beyond the devastating loss of life and the countless wounded, the prolonged fighting in this small strip of land has brought even greater and irreversible suffering to its people. The people and children of Gaza can no longer endure the war, misery, and constant bombings. They can no longer stand in endless lines for hours just to receive the bare minimum of food to survive. At the same time, Israeli soldiers are gradually becoming exhausted from this drawn-out conflict. Considering that Hamas can hide and set traps in both military and civilian areas, the situation for the Israeli army will only become more difficult, and civilian casualties will inevitably increase even further. Another major reason is the Israeli hostages. If the war continues, many of them may remain in Hamas captivity until their last breath. Let's not forget, these are innocent civilians. Given all this, the most reasonable and moral way to end this war right now is through negotiation and agreement. I believe that if such an agreement is reached, both the majority of Israelis and the people of Gaza will feel relief and satisfaction. The consequences of these negotiations, if successful, will largely depend on how effective the agreement is and how committed both sides remain to it. Let's assume the scenario where both parties accept all 20 points of Trump's proposal, reach an agreement, and fully comply with it. At first, Israeli hostages would be released, most likely in exchange for a large number of Palestinian prisoners currently held in Israeli jails for security reasons. Then, Israeli forces would gradually withdraw from Gaza, and the disarmament of Hamas would begin so that it would no longer pose a threat to Israel's security. If everything goes smoothly, with a full Israeli withdrawal and Hamas completely disarmed, it would mark the best possible outcome for Gaza and its people. The administration of Gaza would then be handed over to a council operating under UN supervision. Since no concrete deal has yet been made, predicting every detail is difficult. But I can confidently say that if the two sides reach an agreement, both will declare themselves the victors, both in the war and at the negotiating table. History has always shown it to be that way. There might even be temporary shows of strength, or perhaps the ceasefire could be broken, derailing everything. But if the truce holds, the reconstruction of Gaza will begin swiftly. And that's when international oversight becomes critical. No group should be allowed to exploit the situation or seize control of Gaza through violence. Nor should any party be permitted to divert international aid for its own benefit. Gaza will never become part of Israel. Over time, control may fall into the hands of the Palestinian Authority, or perhaps to a council whose members are appointed by Arab countries in the region. If the agreement is fully implemented and neither Hamas nor Israel obstructs it, these two scenarios seem the most likely. But could chaos, anarchy, or a devastating power vacuum, like what happened in Libya or Iraq, occur if neither Hamas nor Israel maintains control? My answer is no. Apart from the fact that Trump's plan emphasizes international supervision and even the deployment of international peacekeeping forces, the people of Gaza are simply exhausted by war. It's not unlikely that many of them are also tired of Hamas itself. In the event of a power vacuum, Arab states are seeking to maintain their relations with Israel while also keeping their own people's support would likely step in to stabilize the situation. And we shouldn't forget about the Palestinian Authority under Mahmoud Abbas, which could also play a significant role. Thank you very much for staying with us until the end of the video.